A camel shape in the nebula, Gimel. The Noah narrative divides the animals into two groups, clean and unclean. We will now explore the Gimel constellation found inside the teba or box. Gimel means camel or Camel. In the narrative, Gimel seems to represent the unclean animals. Remember Deuteronomy 14? The camel or Gamel is at the top of the unclean animal list. Gimel has a g sound, g, g. This is a unique guttural sound that a camel can make. When we looked at the Alef, the ox, we found the ecliptic path passed between two star clusters, Pleiades and Hyades. A naked eye observer may have considered the Pleiades cluster as the 7 birds above the ecliptic, and the Hyades cluster as the 7 clean animals below the ecliptic. Now in Gimel, the ecliptic passes over top of a pair of orange stars. This pair may be associated with 2 each of animals that are unclean, male and his female. Personally, I found this quite useful to plot an imaginary trajectory of the ecliptic path by using the concept of, in Alef, the 7 clean birds above the ecliptic, the 7 clean animals below the ecliptic, and in Gimel, the 2 unclean animals just below the ecliptic. Next, I drew an imaginary line between these 3 points, and I had a trajectory tracking the 7 visible orbs in our solar system. Gimel is found where planets transition out of the Milky Way. In a previous chapter, we aligned the alphabet with our modern calendar and seasons using equinox. We had looked at how the mem and shin may have represented the start of the wet, rainy flood seasons. When the sun is in the letter Gimel, this would translate to mid to late April. Gimel may be the season where the earth drinks up the spring runoffs before the summer dry months. In terms of a calendar, Gimel may be marking what a camel is best known for. That is, drinking up water before a trip through the desert. In that era, the dense blue stars would have been a convenient banner in the sunset to mark the transition between wet and dry seasons. We will revisit Gimel a bit later in the narrative. In this study, we deciphered that the ecliptic, the horizon, and the Milky Way nebula were used together to track the passage of time. So, where is the camel in the nebula? Good question. I'll give you a moment this time to see if you can recognize the head of a camel. A hint is it is just above the ox nebula shape. The letter shape can be seen in 2 locations. 1, in the dark nebula under its chin and neck, and 2, near its mouth. The Gimel letter shape near the throat may indicate how the g, Gimel sound is created. I still get quite excited when I realize that the nebula shape first resembles the letter, as well as second, resembling the meaning of the letter, and third, combining both helps us understand the sound of the letter. This made it much easier to use the horizon to locate a star constellation that matched the letter shape and the ecliptic path. Sometimes one spots the letter nebula first, and other times the meaning of the letter is found first. Locating one often leads to finding the other. Speaking from the hindsight of doing this study, I know that this narrative contains secret hidden details that are to be unlocked and understood by observing the passage of time against the stars of the heavens. These details are unlocking an amazing memorization technique to track the passage of time. There are more major details that this narrative is tracking, which we must save for later.